when you start out the Clone Wars, it's like General Yoda.
Yes. Yes.
I remember I tried to get into it a while ago.
Clone Wars was a little harder for me to get into, to be honest. But the more I watched it, the more I fell in love with it.
There's like a 4-episode arc in Clone Wars that's important. The rest is kind of like just good to know, but not necessary. The whole Mortis arc, with Ahsoka, where she dies and comes back, that's important to know because that lends into where she is now.
Yeah. So did Ahsoka show up in Rebels, or did she show up in Clone Wars?
She does.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And she's a pivotal character in those cartoons, so it's nice to see her being brought to life and played so well. Like, I think Rosario Dawson's a great actor, and she portrays the character well.
She does a very good job.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. You're right. It was worth watching.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's some shit out there that's definitely not worth watching.
Loki episode 1
wasn't bad, was it?
Good.
It was
really good.
You know what?
I'm actually excited to watch it. The fucking guy that plays in Indiana Jones: The Temple of Doom and The Goonies.
He was in it.
And he killed it.
Bro.
He fucking killed it. He was my favorite part of the whole thing.
When he came on the screen, I'm like, babe, you know who that is? Do you know who that is? Do you know
awesome.
who that is?
That was awesome. I had to stop it. Like, we were watching, me and Sierra, and I paused it. And I went over and looked at my phone. I was like, is that? I was like, holy shit.
I was like, well played, Disney. Well played. And they kept it on the reps. So good for them.
Oh, that was good.
I had no idea. Did you?
No.
Well, did you see the first episode?
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
It's so good.
Right. Yeah.
It's so good.
Start her up.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your host, Nelson.
Ian.
Ed?
We are here today. We got some really actually good, positive reviews on some good shows that we have been watching.
Yeah.
And as you probably have listened to already, we started discussing Ahsoka.
Yep.
Who overall,
So we'll start with that.
Yeah, we'll start with that. Overall, it was a really good show. I thought it was really well cast.
Yep.
The memes are hilarious though, because the memes around the show are surrounding the two main protagonist cast members that happen to be women with really nice butts.
Yeah.
So
I did
Have you
notice
seen
that.
those?
Yeah, I did know Sabine Wren
Yes.
and General Green Tentacles.
Yes. General Green Tentacles.
Yes.
Who's married to Obi-Wan Kenobi in real life.
Oh, yeah?
She's married to Ewan McGregor in real life.
Well, Ewan McGregor, salute to you, sir, because your wife's caked up.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say.
But it's hilarious. Like, as the show has been progressing, like, all the memes are like another great episode, and it's just like a picture of her ass.
Yeah.
Well,
or Sabine's ass.
I remember my girlfriend getting angry at me because I think I made a comment that I don't think the Green Tentacles would disqualify her. I don't think it would. I'm just saying I would give it a shot.
You know what?
I would give it a shot, you know?
You're a giver, man. You know what?
I would,
I think
yeah.
that's very nice of you.
I mean,
yeah.
just think, like, you can their handles.
Yeah,
like, you know,
look,
Very considerate, man. Very considerate.
Ian's like,
very
look,
good.
I'm an equal
white,
opportunity
black,
player.
green,
Alien?
Asian,
Yeah.
alien, tentacles, non-tentacles.
We've all played Mass Effect.
Yes, we have.
All right.
Okay, so what you're alluding to...
Did you or did you not go
is-
for the blue chick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how could you not? How
She's the
could you
best
not?
psionic user in the game.
Absolutely. And you wanted to find out about those psionic skills.
Right. And the
Yes.
only way to do it was to do it.
Science.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That adds up.
Right.
That's
It does.
about right.
I blame Kirk. I blame
Yeah.
Captain Kirk. He started us on
Yeah,
this trip.
he did. He did.
did.
Good man. So back to Ahsoka,
Yes.
right? One of the main characters, one of the main villains,
Balin
kind of a
Skull.
villain, Balin Skull.
Yep.
Passed
Stevenson.
away. Ray Stevenson during the filming of the show. He did
Tragically.
such a fantastic portrayal that people are like, man. The show is good enough that people are like,
He
hey,
was menacing.
respect to him.
Yeah.
Let's
When he
recast,
when he
but
showed
do it
up,
right.
yeah, when he showed up with the hood, like coming out of that ship in the first episode, you're like, this is a scary looking.
Hell yeah.
He's very imposing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
He
shit.
played that center line well. Like, he's clearly not a Sith. He's also clearly not a Jedi.
Yup.
You also clearly don't want to fuck with him.
Bro, after watching him, I would definitely love to see like the Mountain play a Jedi. Imagine like a Sith walking out of the room, like the Mountain. Like,
They don't make robes big
bro,
enough.
a lightsaber axe, just like I'm like, I'm in.
Half Thor Bjornsson.
Yeah, bro, that shit would be hard as fuck.
It would be.
Like, imagine like you have like little Ahsoka, like, I've got this. Whatever comes out of the room, I got it. And it's just like this thing 2 times the size of you walking into the room, like, hey, you guys in the back, I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, where Gandalf says, whatever comes through that door, face it bravely.
Exactly.
And a fucking mountain troll in full armor comes through the door, and they're all just like, oh, God. Like,
hold the line.
Yeah.
Like, bitch, you hold the line.
Yeah, what line? You're the one with magic, Gandalf. You fight it. Like, what the hell?
They made Sabine a Jedi. Like it was iffy, right? They were like, she's
Mandalorian
Force sensitive.
Jedi?
Not the first, to be honest.
So
Okay.
Mandalorians, everyone is Force sensitive to some extent. The Mandalorians' creed and the way they choose to live is what makes it hard for them to actually tap into that Force.
So they're inherently anti-Force.
Yes.
Yeah, because of their creed and principles make them anti-Force. But
Also,
it doesn't.
not the biggest Jedi fans.
It doesn't make them where they
Correct.
can't use the Force. And even in Rebels, there's all these tiny little hints that most people kind of never noticed. That's like, oh no, she has the potential,
Right.
but she doesn't quite ever get there. At least
Right.
in Rebels.
And which is why Ahsoka took her on as a apprentice, as a Padawan, but then also left. Like she felt this eerie responsibility. There was this. She was caught in the line between, well, Anakin was my teacher, and now he's Darth Vader, the greatest evil in the universe. I have this potentiality to cross that line as well, which they displayed in one of the episodes when she's fighting him, and she's like, I could cross the line, bitch, but I'm not because I choose to be good.
Yeah.
So that's why she kind of dropped her off. But Sabine Wren is in the descendants of the bloodline, I believe, because she is like royalty in
she's from one of the great houses.
the great houses of Mandalore. So one of the original Mandalorians, where that black saber came from, was a Mandalorian who was a Force
Darksaber,
wielder.
sir.
Yes,
Darksaber.
Darksaber. Yeah. So he was a Force wielder. So it's not unheard of, but it's definitely not common. And even their armor, their weaponry, is all geared towards fighting Jedi. Like they can take saber hits to their armor.
Yeah.
And it doesn't pierce.
The reason why they use Beskar for armor is
it
for
repels lightsaber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why they don't like to use it for weapons, because one, it breaks Beskar armor, and two, it's better served in defense against lightsabers. But they used to not have issues, but then war broke out, and then the Jedi became their main enemy.
Yeah.
So all the little missiles, the wires, the jetpacks, all of that is purely to combat against Jedi and their Force powers.
Yeah, no better way to beat a high-jumping Jedi than a jetpack.
Absolutely. And no way to fight the Force than with like that Gatling rope, like, get over here. And you can grab something, pull it back. They're like, I can grab shit from afar too, bitch.
Or a miniature flamethrower.
Yeah, you know,
Can't do that, Jedi.
Distraction.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
So you can't do the Force choke, though.
No, they can't.
No, but the one bounty hunter had augmentations on him, so you can't Force choke him.
Yeah.
What's his name? The blue dude that goes after Boba.
Oh, the Mantis face. What the fuck's his name?
Kane.
Something Bane. Cad Bane.
Cad Bane.
Yeah, there we go.
Cadbury Bunny.
Yeah.
Supposedly, the whole
wasp
augmentation
face
he has on
walking
his
out of the desert.
on his face there is for anti-Jedi.
So he pulled a Magneto. He's like, Professor X is my greatest villain. I'm gonna get this big bucket, put it on my head.
Yeah.
You ain't getting in my head, bitch.
Juggernaut
You ain't
did
getting
too.
in my head.
Juggernaut did too. Juggernaut did
Isn't
too.
Juggernaut in the family of Professor Xavier? As
He's
well?
like a half brother.
He's the brother.
Half brother.
Half-brother. Yeah.
Yeah, but his powers aren't mutant. His powers are from magic.
Yeah, they come from like a super god being that lives
the
out
dark
in space.
arts.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, so in the
I
movie,
would take
he
that over a
should-
mutation. I'm with that.
Yeah, but Juggernaut is a big guy.
Yes.
He's a giant guy. It's just that's why he's a perfect host for those abilities.
Yeah, so like if you had the helmet and you were a small person, what would you call yourself?
The Nugget.
The thimble. The thimble. The nugget.
Yeah.
Who would you say is your favorite character, good or bad, takeaway from Ahsoka?
It's hard to tell. I mean, I'm watching it for the caked up alien girls.
Caked
but I
up.
don't know. It's a good show. Its writing was okay. I mean, my favorite takeaways. I like Thrawn.
Yes.
I like to finally see him in all his blueness. On
Yes.
screen.
And his methodical evilness. You gotta love it. he's never worried.
He's always 4 moves ahead.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh, they retreat into the thing rather than sending everybody deeper into the asteroid field. He's like, no, retreat for now.
Or like when the lady's like, oh, she's dead. He's like, many people have said that before, and he's like, I never fall asleep on these people because they'll keep coming.
He said I underestimated him before.
The
I'm not gonna do it again.
The only time he's failed a mission is once, and it was to Ezra, a Jedi, essentially child.
Yes.
And that's the only time he failed. So he was like, blow up the fucking planet. He's like, there's 3 of them? Shoot it. We're leaving. Leave nothing. We need to get out of here.
And they barely tapped into Ezra's real powers.
Yes.
Like, in the cartoon, he has more so than any other Jedi. Like, they've all been able to kind of commune with animals and stuff. Ezra can, like, summon the animals to his will to help him out. Like, that's where
they need to get his ass over to that to Mandalore and have him talk to that Mythos.
Yeah, bro.
So most Jedi almost have like a thing they're natural with. His was essentially animal communication.
Yeah.
The way he had beat Thrawn was he got onto Thrawn's ship and then he asked the whales to just grab the ship and just yank him the fuck out of there. And that's what they did. So like, yeah, man, no problem. And they just... That's why his ship is all damaged. That's from the giant space whales grabbing it and just ripping and forcing him into hyperspace and out of the galaxy.
I did notice that in Ahsoka that Thrawn's troops looked like they'd been through the ringer.
Oh yeah,
like they all had like repaired gear.
Because they've been outcast into this, planet, into this.
They still seem loyal. They still worship the dude.
Yeah, the chainmail Ezra is wearing does look somewhat like dog tags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like his character. They do call him like the Star Wars Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. They're like, he kind of has that Moses vibe going on to him,
But he was in Rebels he was very powerful for a Padawan. He was at certain points almost inching in on like is Anakin really special? Because this guy over here, he's doing all the big guy moves, and he's still a kid.
Yeah, and him being cast away was probably the only thing that let the evil rise the way they did as far as the Sith, because I feel like if he was in this galaxy, then there would have been a different outcome, perhaps. He's that powerful. That's why, like, he didn't even take the saber. He's like, nah, I got this. I'll just kind of use the Force and throw shit around. I call my Ninja Turtle buddies over here. We're good to go, But my favorite character in the show, for sure, was the blonde Sith chick. She's she just screams wild card. She's just like, at any time, I'm going to go off the hook. Dead. I'm going to go off the hook. And even her own master is like, listen, I've taught you everything I can. He's like, your ambition and what I need to do are 2 separate paths. He's like, just here's one last piece of advice. Go out there and do your thing. And he's like, that's it. He recognized that. That's another thing about that Baylan Skoll character. He's another very methodical, like, what's best for me?
Yeah, well, he had a plan the whole way through. And to do his plan, he needed to use Thrawn and to get over there and do all that. So Thrawn, and that's where you see the one fight where Thrawn's like, we got a piece missing. And it was Baylan, because he didn't anticipate Baylan, wavering. He's like, no, I already fulfilled my part of the agreement, which was, I got the thing, and you're here, and here's this. We're done.
Yep, I'm moving on.
I'm going on to something else. I wasn't paid for the rest of this.
Yeah. Typical mercenary style. Yeah,
you gotta pay.
Now at the end there, I don't know if you know what you were seeing. There's some speculation when he's standing on that hand in the mountainside. He's staring off to what people believe where the Sith originally came from. There was a tower that was kind of glowing off in the sunset. Don't know if that's true or not, but he is after something greater. He's after power. That's his goal.
He has something that's calling to him. Now, the hand he's standing on is of one of the 3 Mortis gods, the father. So the father was balance. Then the son was Sith, and then the daughter was light. Anakin was supposed to take over for the father. So that's that 4-episode arc where Ahsoka dies. Anakin was supposed to take over for the father as balance because the father was getting old, and he couldn't keep controlling his children anymore.
Right.
So they were going to cause an imbalance. Anakin didn't want to take over, and in the process, the son kills Ahsoka. And like one of 4 deaths she goes through. So then the daughter sacrifices her life to resurrect her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where also the owl comes from. The owl was a companion of the daughter. So
remember the owl in the last episode there?
Yep.
That kind of came and visited her.
Yeah. So every now and then the owl pops up, and generally speaking, it's important when the owl pops up.
It's like an omen of sorts.
Yeah.
Usually important when owls show up. Harry Potter, in this case.
It tends to guide her way to where she needs to
Tootsie
be.
Pops. Tootsie Pops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
never did figure out how many licks it takes.
And that's the other thing that they're saying is that Ahsoka is prime with the amount of deaths and resurrections. She's basically like Star Wars Loki. That she's primed to be like a Force god when she does finally die.
Okay.
Like
she technically does have.
She's gonna take her place up there with Qui-Gon Jinn and
Yoda. And
at
all
this
the
point,
big
definitely,
guns.
because she's walking around with
Luke too now.
with the light side Force Mortis god inside her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's already kind of on that path there. Now the light that he's looking at, some are speculating is the mother, who wasn't shown in the Mortis arc, and she was a human, but she didn't want to die and leave her family, and she went full dark side,
Right.
like the son's dark side.
Yeah.
Kinda
Got
compared to the mom.
Yeah.
So they ended up having to lock her up because she was causing such a big imbalance, but they were keeping her under control. So at this point, the son lost the power, the daughter's dead, the father's dead. There's no one keeping the mother locked up. So it's plausible that the thing that's calling him is like the pure essence of the dark side.
Yeah, not
Right.
good. Not good stuff.
No, not good.
Not good. Not good.
So one of the ladies.
We don't want him to tap into that.
No,
Okay,
no,
right.
definitely
Bad
not.
news, bad
But I
news.
don't think Balin Skull is a pure evil guy. If any
No.
role he would fulfill, I feel it's like a balance role.
But when does the
think?
Sith ever tell you we're pure evil? Come join us.
No, this
I
is
don't know,
true,
but
but it's
I don't
just
know,
his
but
general
I don't-
demeanor.
I don't know, but Darth Maul was pretty convincing. I mean,
Yeah.
when that motherfucker showed up, I was
No,
like, he's evil.
Yes, I
That
agree.
dude is evil.
Yeah, I think he thinks he's searching under someone like the Bendu, who's a middle of the line Force being, and he's being plausibly tricked. Because the only other person that had anything from the other side of the galaxy calling was the Emperor.
Why don't
Not a good guy.
No.
You're not in a good list of
Sidious.
people.
Right.
Darth Sidious.
You're
Right.
not in a good list of people. You're like, who's the other person that heard this voice?
It's true. It's true.
Darth Sidious.
But-
this guy.
Why don't the Sith ever do a nut crush? Like they always do the throat grab.
Because that's not very Force.
Can you imagine, though? I
I mean, you got 2 hands. You could,
You can.
Right, like you fake them out. You think you're going for a throat crush, they block that, but then you
So
go
you-
under and you crush their nuts.
Or even
I
like
mean, fuck,
Titty
that's it.
twisters.
Yeah, yeah.
Titty
Or
twist.
nipple twist. Like, I mean, less energy.
Yeah, you could.
Twist them the whole way off.
Maybe
with
it's
the
just a
Force.
tasteless move. They're like, I am beyond the nut crush.
Are you the dark side of the Force or not? And I'm just saying, the darkest of dark moves would
Yeah,
be to
this is
reach
true.
out with the Force
Yeah.
and crush a man's nuts.
Yeah.
He's not going to fight
Yeah.
back. It's
Now,
over.
The
It's
only other person that was tempted besides like a Luke Skywalker was Ezra in the Rebels cartoon. He was hearing voices for a while, and he was being led down a path by Darth Maul. So like the short role that Darth Maul played in the movies
Definitely
is
evil.
nothing compared to what a role he had in Rebels and Clone Wars. Like,
Darth
he
Maul
was a bad
G, though.
motherfucker.
He was a bad motherfucker.
He was a bad motherfucker.
Even in episode 1, for all its negatives, episode 1, he goes toe to toe with. It's also the first time we saw the double-sided lightsaber.
double-sided
Yeah.
lightsaber.
Every kid remembers that.
When that
Every
commercial
kid
said,
remembers that.
you were like, you can do that.
Exactly. And he fought Qui-Gon Jinn, who's a legit master.
Yes.
And Obi-Wan, who's virtually on the verge of becoming a
Yep.
master.
Yeah.
Like, he
Yeah.
fought them both same time.
Same time.
And he's the reason Qui-Gon Jinn is a ghost in the sky.
This is
Yeah.
true.
So Darth Maul, he survived that.
respect. You
Getting
gotta
cut
give
in
him
half
respect.
and his arm cut off.
Yeah.
He survived and falling into like a reactor.
Yeah.
He survived that.
He
You
had-
gotta give him respect for
he,
that.
Yeah.
he lived on hate.
Yes.
So that's how the Darth side
as do
side
most women.
stays alive.
yes.
They live
Is,
on
is,
hate.
is
Yeah.
by hate.
and
pure hatred.
and
Like,
resentment. Yep.
yeah. No, but so Ezra was tempted, but resisted Darth Maul in the end. But Ezra was still a kid who had this like unwavering curiosity. That was what they thought was going to be his overall downfall. But he was at the end of the day, just so overwhelmingly good in his belief and what he needed to get done. But the older people were always like, you're testing fate. You're gonna find that the dark side has more power, more tricks. And that's what's gonna lure you in. But so you'll see Ezra. I think he's gonna play a big part, maybe in their own show. There was such good enough feedback that I think that they might do.
They could
like some kind of a Rebel spinoff or bring him into the movies, which would be dope. That could save the next trilogy.
Well, Ahsoka's gonna end with a movie.
Yeah.
So they're wrapping up the Mandalorian stuff, the Boba stuff, and Ahsoka. That's gonna all get wrapped up in a Thrawn movie.
I still think they need to fix Boba. I wouldn't even be mad if Disney said, "Hey, listen,
more
guys,
back to tank.
We fucked up. More back to tank. We fucked up. We're gonna reset Boba Fett in this universe. And that's how about that?
My faith still isn't restored in Disney or Star Wars yet. Yeah. Ahsoka was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah. It had me and Sierra being like, "Oh, I can't wait to sit down in front of television and watch more of it." Yeah. But it doesn't erase
other things.
The half of Boba Fett. It doesn't erase like some of the downsides of the Mandalorian in later. It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't. And fuck, it'll never erase the giant like
shit pile.
Herpes sore that is Andor. Like it won't. It won't do it.
I still hate Andor.
There are people that love Andor as if it was the best Star Wars has ever done.
We need to find these people and we need to interview them and beat them. Find out who hurt you.
Well, who hurt you? Who hurt you? Where did they show on the doll where they touched you?
There are
I was with it for the first 20 minutes. The whole Mass Effect bar scene, I was with it. Yeah. And when he fucking guns him down in the alley, I was like, this dude. But then when he goes home and I realized this guy's an asshole. Yeah. Like nobody likes this guy. Like he's not. And then like nothing got better.
Yeah.
He stayed a shitty, dull thing the entire, and it was like a failed attempt at a bank robbery movie.
You can just know that
it just wasn't good.
It wasn't good at all.
He soon enough dies on a planet.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Planet goes boom. He's still there.
Good.
Yeah.
Did he die?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Pretty sure they all die.
Good.
Yeah.
And justly so.
And Rogue One. Haven't you seen Rogue One?
I did, I believe.
Yeah.
So
one with
Andor's culmination is
the Force guy.
Is the Rogue One movie.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah.
That's how they got. But I'm glad you reminded me because now I feel a little better.
Yeah, that's how they got the plans to destroy the Death Star. Was Rogue One. That was the whole.
Well, they did their. Congratulations, thank you for the. But
it was the only meaningful thing he did with his shitty existence.
And that's still one of like the greatest ha-has of all time. Is like, why do you design these things with a vent that goes directly to the reactor that like.
So
if some dude takes a dump down the vent, it blows the whole fucking
thing. So the
up.
backstory into that is that one of the great scientists making the Death Star was doing so against his will.
He was a hater.
So he created this way to destroy this monstrosity.
He lied the whole time.
He lied the whole time. He's like, I got you.
It'll help us with optimum ventilation.
Yeah, I got you guys. Yeah. You absolutely need this.
Yeah.
Button right here. Don't press it though, but you're gonna need it at some point.
But theoretically,
this is what
if someone was a good enough pilot.
Yeah,
yes.
That's quite literally what he did.
Yeah. They could fuck this whole thing up. Well, good job.
And it worked. And
I never got how like those torpedoes that they fired, like they went and then all of a sudden they made like a hard right angle and went down the, like it was,
guidance systems, sir.
Yeah.
No, because he was using the force at that point.
So he Angelina Jolie that bitch, like curved that bullet.
So Luke was a G too if he was able to.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Listen, they talk about Luke
but
being
later Disney turned him into a hobo living on a strange
but
planet.
They also made him a badass.
Sucking blue milk from a tit.
They made him a badass at the end of Mandalorian season 2 when he came on that ship and fucked those robots up.
Yeah, he did.
Don't forget that scene.
They did, but I'm also not going to forget how cheesy he was toward the end in the Last Jedi movie.
Yeah, they
in the desert
him.
doing the shoulder brush thing.
Yeah, they pussified him.
In the books, Luke is strong enough to go against Force gods and win.
Right.
They really turned him into a bitch in the movies.
They pussified him.
Disney does that.
But nobody wanted to see that.
Because he's a male character.
Everybody would. Yeah, exactly.
You can't be seen up staging Rey.
But like that's what everybody came to see, right? They didn't want to see the big like I'm going to sacrifice myself. Like no, we want to see you going out in a blaze of fucking glory, right?
Yeah, but he didn't.
They wanted to see him slaughtering Ewoks, just left and right. Just their entire civilization for no fucking reason.
poor little Ewoks.
Bro, would you not have enjoyed that?
I would have enjoyed Ewok slaughter. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, thank you. All right,
Part
it's
of me would have enjoyed
just
it.
as good as.
So my faith isn't restored in Disney. It's
Okay,
not. But thank you for letting me borrow your password.
Yeah, man.
And I keep changing your.
I noticed.
Okay,
oh,
yeah.
I've noticed. You know what's funny? It's that God. I do that to my niece.
You've been a lot of characters from the Frog Prince.
I have. I do that to my niece. I go on the Netflix.
I wasn't gonna fuck with Ed or Cassidy or any of them. but I was gonna change.
I laughed. Every time. I was like, this motherfucker. I know. I am now the truck from Cars.
Mater.
I'm the fucking get her done truck.
That's right. I had to.
But it was good for a laugh. Every time I turned it on, I'm like, what character am I gonna be today? Yep. That's how I know he's watched Ahsoka too, though. I'm like, oh, good, he's watching Ahsoka.
I am watching.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
I would say a lot of the Force users that we're gonna start seeing now are probably going to end up being more powerful because they're not held down by the doctrine, and they're instead following the Force.
Yeah.
In which case, when you're following it, you tend to end up being a little more powerful. You tend to end up being a Force ghost at the end. Yeah. Because you're not trying to force things to go a particular direction. You're allowing it to move the proper direction.
Wouldn't this be dope if out of nowhere, like a secret sect of Jedi trained by Mace Windu, just a bunch of purple wielding lightsaber motherfuckers,
all black, Wakanda forever,
bald, just running out and just murking motherfuckers.
We know there's other Force users. There's creatures
the
like
Nation of Windu.
Yes. Secret invasion Windu.
There's creatures like the Bendu who were in the middle, who stayed out of all the fighting and everything. And then at the end of the last trilogy, don't forget when Sidious came back again, he was in a stadium full of Sith users.
Yeah.
So it's very plausible because when the Force came over to the galaxy that we know for Star Wars, it came over with a bunch of Sith users from where they were at.
Yeah.
But that lends to, it was like a whole galaxy that was essentially all dark side. Like dark side 1 over here.
Not a good place to live.
Right.
And so Thrawn was originally from
Taxes are high there.
the other side, which now the other side is a whole nother galaxy.
Right.
And he is trying to prepare, in his backstory, he's trying to prepare the Empire for a war he knows is coming. And his belief is, without everyone forced to unite, we're not going to win. Everyone is going to die.
That would be sick.
His whole thing was, I will work with you, Sidious, as long as my planet is spared.
Right.
And Sidious used him because he's just a fucking brilliant tactician.
Yeah.
Sick. He's the Napoleon of the stars.
You need a brilliant
So
tactician.
it's not that he likes the Empire, but in his mind, the Empire is the only way.
It's a means to an end.
To fucking live.
It's a means to an end. Now, another thing that people were talking about, and we'll get off of Star Wars if you guys want, was the fact that Thrawn in the cartoon was like a very fit, slender man.
Oh yeah, that 10 years? This 10 years was rough.
They're like, bro, the man he wasn't at war. He was eating some cupcakes. Give the fucking guy a break. He wasn't known for his physical prowess so much, but he was a good fighter. But you know, I mean, he's a little rusty. He's a little rusty.
He's a little on the chunky side.
Yeah, come on. We all age. We all get a little. We get a little punch. Don't fucking hate on the guy.
It happens to us all.
Yeah.
Some of us more than others.
Yeah. Fuck you. I'm slimming out, bro. Look at this. Woo!
You look great.
Thank you, man. I
appreciate it. All it took was surgery and inability to eat.
That's all you need. Listen, I highly recommend if you guys want to go on a diet plan, just have a stomach surgery.
How are the incisions?
Actually, pretty good. Yeah. They did the laparoscopic surgery. And they didn't even stitch me up. It was glue stitches. Yeah. And actually, pretty good. Pretty good. I actually finally feel like a fucking human being again. Like I'm like, fuck, I can do things. I'm coming to the end of that, so I'm gonna start my exercising again. I'm gonna do walks, bike riding, things like that right now, and get my shit back together so I can get back on the mats again and do my thing, have a little fun.
Sounds good.
But so outside of Star Wars, the other show that we've seen, and I'll let you take the lead on this one, Ian, Wheel of Time.
Yeah, Wheel of Time, for those of you that don't know, Amazon Prime. I was a big fan of the first season. A lot of people that read the books were a little skeptical because they're like purists. You're always going to have your purists, especially when it comes from a literary
Except
work.
for that one guy who... That's too close to the actual book on screen.
Oh, wait, yeah. That one IGN reviewer from on The Witcher,
we won't let it go. You fucking suck, bro.
Yeah, you do suck.
Too close to the source material.
IGN over and over the last couple of years have been putting out reviews and comments and things that have just been so far off.
Yeah,
where it's like, I don't think I use you guys for any real source anymore.
Not anymore.
I'm sorry.
It's just bullshit.
Every now and then they get something right, but when you criticize something and say it sticks too close to the source material, that's fucked.
It's like that's why we love the thing.
That's why we like the thing. That's why it has a fan base, because it's a thing. Like, but anywho, but Wheel of Time season 2 was stronger than the first.
Yes.
It delves into a lot of more of the stuff, like, especially involving the main character Rand and his evolution as the Dragon Reborn. And it leads up to the 8th episode, which I think that since watching it over the weekend, it was the best episode of fantasy television I can remember since Game of Thrones. It's that good.
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, a lot of shit goes down. The characters, some are reunited, some not, and it was.
Egwene, that's what I was looking up. Egwene, her performance in this season was amazing.
Oh yeah. Her character transformation,
all over the place. From like, she's like a gentle soul.
You
from
thought
season
one.
one.
You thought she was a support character going into this, and she no longer is a support character.
That bitch came out. Even like the main villain's like, "Bitch, you can't hold me," and she's like, "I don't think so."
And the enemies are getting scarier.
Oh yeah,
the enemies are getting fucking scarier. Yeah.
Bro,
the Forsaken, they're pretty terrifying.
Yes, that lady at the very last episode, she's like
Mogwayne or whatever.
Legwayne.
Well, the one is Landfear.
Landfear.
That lives in your dreams.
Yeah, she's
horrifying. And then Mogwayne, the spider chick at the end.
Oh,
it's
yes.
like, oh, dude, no. Like, they're worse. And then, like, no, what the fuck? Like,
she was a badass.
They're just scary. All of them. Ishamael, they're all just horrifying beings that you have to deal with. It's good to see Amazon actually doing justice by a literary work and making it a good show, unlike what MTV did with the Chronicles show, and just bastardized one of my favorite.
Yeah, and you wanted it to be good, but they very much took the reins from whoever did Teen Wolf, and they tried to turn that Shannara Chronicles into like the next Teen Wolf.
MTV shouldn't have been doing any fantasy books, ever.
Teen Wolf wasn't so bad though.
You can't even do MTV. You can't even do
you can't even do music.
So what the fuck were we?
So what are you doing?
Teen Wolf was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked Teen Wolf. I didn't think it was
there was
bad.
times where it strayed a little bit, but
overall it was a dope
never
wolf
so
show.
bad that I stopped watching.
Yeah,
right.
But back to Wheel of Time. Egwene's character, man, for me was like so fucking hardcore. She went from this gentle soul in season 1 to like this crazy badass at the end of season 2.
She goes through some pretty traumatic shit.
She does.
Yeah.
She goes through
she
some
gets a
like
shitty deal.
Like, what was the name of that character in Game of Thrones where he was like tortured for?
Oh God. Oh my God, no! Don't Theon
Greyjoy. Theon Greyjoy with
dude got his dick cut off.
Fuck, bro! In such a fucked up way.
Cut off. Like,
and like
Ramsay Bolton is a monster.
Yeah, he's was
an absolute monster.
But he sold. Like, if I met him in the street, I'd just punch him first. Like, I wouldn't shake his hand. I'd be like, "Bro, you ain't kidnapping me."
But he did do a good job of playing Mick in The Dirt. In Motley Crue. He played.
He actually came from a show before that I really loved called Misfits.
Yeah.
And in that show, he plays the weirdest fucking guy. He was like this guy that like hid in the corners. He was very shy.
He could go invisible, but not when someone's looking.
Yes. So he's telling everybody, "I can go invisible." They're like, "Yeah, whatever, dude, whatever."
Like, do it.
Do it.
He can't do it while people are watching him.
But like he was like sneaking in like the girls' locker.
So it's like people that can't pee.
Like he was like a peeping Tom.
All right, that's fine.
/ invisible.
But
guy.
if you look in his direction, he doesn't turn back, does he?
No.
Okay, because that power would suck.
That power would suck.
If you snuck into the girls' locker room theoretically, and they all looked in the corner.
Once he went invisible, he was fine. But if you were watching him, he couldn't use the powers.
They all had fucked up powers. Like the girl who was like a slut, her power became every man and woman is just irresistibly they want her so bad that they will do anything, including like try to rape her to have sex with her. Like she couldn't be around people. Like so at first she was like this promiscuous girl, and then she gets this power, and she's like she gets arrested for something, and the cop like locks the door, and he's like,
if she's down like that, I mean, that's
no,
a good
she
power
is
to have.
until it's like, oh my god, I don't want everyone to lust over me so bad that they would kill for me. Yeah, there's no chance to get away. It's fucking rough. Like all their powers were perfect for the person in a fucked up way.
Finds out he's immortal once he gets buried alive.
Yes. He's such an asshole that everyone hates him so much that the only way he spends the whole episode trying to find his power.
He's like, my power must be the best because I can't figure it out what it is yet.
Yeah. And he dies and they bury him, and then it's when he finds out, fuck. I'm immortal.
Yeah, that's a shitty power.
It's so good. And he plays in, what's that new show with the 6 students that train together with the ape?
It's
Umbrella Academy.
Yeah. The Umbrella Academy. Okay, so the guy that talks to ghosts?
Him.
He's the main character in
okay.
In the other show that I was
discussing.
Misfits.
Yeah,
Misfits
my brain is not working today, man.
It's okay.
It's early.
Your
it's early
brain's
in the
not
morning.
I'm wearing sunglasses because all the blood vessels in my eyes are broken. I had a horrific day yesterday. I do it again, but it was horrific.
Sometimes you got to have those days to like offset all the normalcy in life, right?
Yeah.
And when it's the odd thing out, and like you just like, I need a day to completely decompress, not give a fuck, and just do whatever.
Well, this is my last week. This is my last weekend in a certain tax bracket, so
nice.
Yeah,
I'm just putting everything on a credit card. I'll pay for it next week.
Oh, that's like I've been watching Psych again. Have you ever seen Psych?
I've heard no.
The Psychic Detective.
Oh, it's a phenomenal show.
Hilarious.
Those are good things to go together. I feel like a psychic detective is very important.
It's so good.
But he's like, he actually is just very perceptive. His father was a detective.
The blood stain. You're like, I did it.
So he's not a real psychic. He's a fake psychic. But his father was like a master detective, and from the age of like 4 or 5, he raised him with all of these detective and cop skills. So when he became an adult, he's just like this carefree, like shitty but really good person.
He learned all these skills, but he rebelled against his dad in terms of like, I'm just not gonna be put together enough to actually put any of this shit to use.
Yeah. So he fakes being a psychic and he solves crime. And it's a good show, man. If you haven't seen that, and they use a lot of pop culture references. He's got a mouth in all of the right ways. Like he can have a gun to his face and they're like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, why won't you just shut the fuck up? He's like, I sense you're having trouble at home. You know, like what the fuck?
We haven't talked about it on the show, but Castlevania Nocturne came out. The next iteration, the next like spin-off of Castlevania. It's fantastic. Right. IGN actually gave it a 9 out of 10. I agree with them. It takes place a couple hundred years after the original Castlevania. So Sypha, the wizard, like the wandering sorceress chick, and Trevor Belmont, eventually they got together, and so now their line, it's not just the Belmont family with their vampire killing skills, they have magic now in their bloodline. Nice. And it ends up to Richter, who's another video game character from the Castlevania video game series. He is now a descendant of them, and he's got all their powers.
Okay.
And it's pretty good. It takes place in France during the French Revolution.
I like that.
And it's good. But it starts out in Boston in the United States.
Boston.
And it's awesome.
Is Mark Wahlberg's family involved at all?
Not at all. But it's kind of cool. There's like an Aztec vampire. That comes over
no
from
cheeseburgers in the place anywhere.
No Wahlburgers. There's no Wahlburgers.
Any Transformers?
None.
No Transformers.
No Transformers.
But there's like a Haitian vampire hunter who's a former escaped slave that came over from Haiti.
Nice.
And like she has the blood of Odin, the African god of iron, in her. And her abilities are fucking ridiculous. She can turn like the glass in a dinner plate into a blade. Like it's fucking ridiculous.
That's dope. That
sounds good. And I'm not gonna spoil anything, but the last episode of that has a hell of a fucking ending, a hell of a cliffhanger ending. I can't wait for the next season. An old character comes back from the original Castlevania. I'm ready to. I'm excited. So if you haven't seen Castlevania yet, you need to fucking check out Castlevania Nocturne.
Ed, an update on the video game you've been playing. You've put in a lot of man hours.
Starfield.
You're still playing Starfield.
I'm still playing Starfield.
Bro. And what are your thoughts later into the game?
They designed the game to be played for years. So it's
as with Skyrim. I was just saying.
Like Skyrim wasn't intended to be played for years, but it managed to be just played for years inherently.
It's creeping up on World of Warcraft now.
Yeah. But this, they designed it to be played for. So the game outright comes with a new game plus. So, without trying to give too many spoilers, you can beat the game and then the universe resets with some slight differences. Like certain characters are different or not there. Like and certain other storylines open up and different things like that. So they really made it where like you can play forever and then
always have kind of new content,
restart to it. And like one of the things I seen, like one of the characters ended up being a fucking plant instead of even a sentient human being around. That's fucked up.
That's not a way to go. Yeah.
I mean, the game is gigantic. Just the amount of time you could spend building your ship, building a base, and then all the missions that run around.
In terms of sci-fi, though, what would you compare it to? Like, as far as like TV sci-fi shows, things like that. Is it more of like? Because I only played a little bit, and I really, to my own mistake, because I know it's not gonna go away. So I'm like, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna play it. Mortal Kombat came out. I'm like, I'm a sucker for fighting games, so I've been fucking playing Mortal Kombat for hours every day now, and I'm like, that's like Skyrim, right? It's like. It's not going anywhere. I'll come back and I'll play it for hours when I have some time. Yeah. Mortal Kombat's kind of like a fun. I want
to get back into it,
and I know it like dies out, and then I'm like, all right, I'm done with.
I play Skyrim every couple of years.
Yeah. What would you say it's best like as far as like sci-fi relatable TV shows that you would compare to, if there is any, or is it really just its own standalone thing as far as sci-fi is concerned?
Own thing. You do have worlds that feel a little Western Firefly-ish.
Okay.
But the other half of the galaxy that has big cities is like super high tech.
Like cyberpunk stuff?
There is one there is one city where they're like, this is more cyberpunk-esque than cyberpunk was when it came out. Okay. Which it's right up there. The game is interesting because they managed to release it without letting anyone know. Like, you have special powers that you start gaining as you're playing along. You start like, manipulating gravity, throwing like solar flares. You
evolve.
You get like essentially what is magic powers with your character, and you're pretty much the only person that has them. Nobody else, because you're the one that's gathering these artifacts.
You're Neo.
To some extent. And then eventually you run into another faction, because you're only running into humans. There are aliens, but all of them are animals. None of them are like higher level sentient creatures.
Gotcha.
And then you finally run into another group, and they wear masks so you can't tell if they're human or not. I was like, oh, wait a minute. These motherfuckers are doing something different. They seem to have a couple of these little powers as well, and they're not happy that I'm searching for these things. They want to stake claim on them.
And now that's when it gets serious.
And that's when you start like, I'll just be flying around and they'll just pop out of nowhere and start attacking me because you have an option of where you store, later on, you have an option of where you store the artifacts.
Yeah.
You could build a base and store them there, but then you got to worry about your base being attacked.
Okay.
Or you could store them on your starship, which is what I'm doing. So whenever I pop up to a planet, I have a chance that one or two of their ships are gonna pop up, and I gotta fucking fight, and get them, to go away.
Well, better safe to keep it on your person than store it away where they can attack your shit and steal it.
Well, you have a bunch of upgrades that you can start doing, and I had already started leaning into the ship upgrades.
Right.
Because I wanted to just get a better ship and be able to put more people on my ship. I'm like, I'll just make my ship my base.
Right.
And wherever I go, I'm fucking home.
I'm home.
Makes sense.
I'm nowhere to go.
Yeah. But there's also a bunch of upgrades for, building bases. And that stuff allows you to, like, mine for resources and make money and
I remember how awesome
all that other kind of stuff.
How awesome it was when they released the Hearth Fire DLC for Skyrim. You're like, what? You can build a house now?
Oh my god! How many hours did you spend building your fucking
I can't even tell.
And then outfitting it with all of your gear and all of that shit.
Everything you kill, you have like suits of armor. Like,
have you ever gone back in after they released all of the extra content? Like, there's so much additional content to Skyrim
right
now.
I think I want to get back into it.
That I played.
They took some of the mods. And
the mods.
And they officially rolled them into the game.
Additional storyline, additional weapons, upgrades to the graphics. Like, not only can you build a house, but there are houses to be found. Like, I have a house, like, in the swamp where it's, like, an Arcana house. And, like, you can have these little animals follow you around that you could store shit on them and then bounce them back to your house to bring your shit over there for you. Like,
it's pretty big,
it's fucking
especially
wild.
once you add the mods. Because then the mods, you can go in there. Like, when I was last playing it, I brought all the textures up to 4K. All the models had a remake. Like, they were pristine. Like, get rid of all the dirt and shit off people's faces. We're in a big city. We're not that poor.
Yeah.
Like, everything was all new. I was running all new missions. Like, these are all just fan-made missions that extend, like, the Thieves Guild and the Assassins Guild. And, like, instead of the Assassin's Guild ending in complete failure or being destroyed, like, well, now the story is you get to rebuild them. And as you do missions, now this big hole that's empty starts filling up with more people, and you gain
It's sick.
People made a whole new game on top of it.
Not only that, like, you can add just the general little things, like the townsfolk have random conversations, random interactions.
More
with
interactions,
you.
more conversations.
So like,
the whole 9 yards.
It really does feel like the same game, but a completely different game. Like, you know, stylistically. It's really dope.
I'll be diving back into that.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's definitely worth it.
It'll be... Starfield opened with mods. Day one, people were already making mods.
It's smart.
And Bethesda leans into that. They give a creation kit for people to make the mods for the game.
That's dope.
So
it's smart on their half because, like, hey, the people that create right now are some of the best. Like, after the Skyrim mods, and once you see it for yourself, you're like, holy shit, what they've done to the game is amazing. And
people
these are just people
as their resume
for fun.
to get jobs creating games.
Yeah. There was something that I watched last night that I was skeptical. I went in skeptical, but as far as like a family friendly, funny, really good movie, I was blown away. It's definitely more of a family, or just like if you want a little sit down light humor like I did yesterday.
I don't have a family.
Haunted Mansion.
Oh, on Disney Plus.
On Disney Plus.
I saw it was out.
It was
fucking
good.
Was it?
I mean, Danny DeVito, Owen Wilson,
it has great
Rosario
people.
Dawson, a fantastic cast of people.
I'm trying to put together
there.
A Disney movie night.
Dude, it was funny and it was really good. There's more people in there, but I watched it from start to end. As far as like kids are concerned, on the scary level, maybe a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
But nothing more than Goosebumps. Like
Okay.
if your kid can tolerate watching Goosebumps, they would enjoy it. There's a few little scary parts, but overall, it's very well.
Overall, it's still a Disney movie.
Overall, it's a Disney movie and it's a comedy. So like even when there's something scary, it's followed by a stupid comedy, you know, to shake them out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I
good?
mean? Yeah, it was really good.
Solid,
It was good. I liked it.
The humor wasn't like, ugh.
No, the humor wasn't corny. Like, because you got Owen Wilson and Danny DeVito delivering comedy. Like, they're good. They're spot on.
Yeah.
They're spot on. They're
Owen
experienced.
Wilson's nose is funny enough.
Yeah, and classic Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Like, he just the way he
Wow.
delivers. Yeah, he's so good. Haunted Mansion. Oh,
right.
Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah.
She's in it.
Her name sounds spicy.
Yeah. She's
a comedian.
hilarious, man. Jared Leto is in it.
Oh God.
But you don't recognize him.
30 Seconds to Mars has new music out too.
Do
And
they?
Yeah, they do.
Lakeith Stanfield.
He's done with the cult.
Well, I mean, whenever a couple failed movies, he needed to go make some money.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and
You owe
Jamie
us for
Jamie Lee
Morbius.
Curtis is in it.
Oh.
Winona Ryder,
Oh.
Hassan Minaj,
There's a lot. God bless you.
yeah, Joe Coy.
Okay.
It's quite the cast. Like, you know, most of them are cameos, but like in the best way. Like when they walk into the room, you're like, this motherfucker.
so you got to keep that ride relevant. So
Yeah. You know what? And that's exactly what they did. They threw in a little hint of like, oh, that's the ride, or that's on the ride.
And then
but
they
not
could
in
just,
a cheesy,
then
over
they
the
just
top way.
upgrade the visuals on the ride and call it a day.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I enjoyed it. We sat down, had some wine, ate some steak, watched it, laughed. I was like, this was a good movie. This was a good time.
Disney's where I'll be going for the next year. I got my passes.
Yeah.
Been doing Universal for the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Me and my daughter, every ride has been done. Yeah. It's done. It's been completed. There's nothing new to go on until the new park opens. Move to the other side of the Orlando and start doing those. It's been a couple of years.
It's smart because by the time you do like Disney for a year or two with the season passes as she's growing up, Universal's gonna pop out some new shit.
And about a year and a half, Universal is supposed to open their other park. So I figure at least a year. Mm-hmm. Because you want to have the tickets to get into the new park when it first pops open. You want to be in there before people spoil all the new Harry Potter shit. Yeah. Because that's literally where everybody goes. It opens up at the gates, and people walk straight to the back of the fucking park. Where's the wizards? Yep. Where's the wands?
Fuck everything else.
That's where we're going.
The rest of the park can be empty. Harry Potter Land is like just packed with fucking people.
At least half of the people are always in that one corner of the park, and then the rest of the park is people scattered.
And I feel like when they do open the Nintendo section,
yes,
it's going to be the same way.
It's going to be
people
big.
love Nintendo. Like, why not lean in hard on those IPs? I'm still, like, bewildered. Like, for Universal, open up a Star Trek land. They got Star Wars over here. Star Trek still has a big enough following where...
Some of that comes down to the copyright and, like, it's owned by this, but owned by this, but owned by... And then you got to deal with 3 companies to be allowed to open up, like, an attraction. Because it's like, well, they got the rights, but... They have the streaming rights, but they have... Right. Because some of that shit was not worked out beforehand.
Or even like Lord of the Rings, right? Like a Lord of the Rings land, that would be fucking sick. Yeah. Hobbits is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be dope.
I'm sure if the show was received better, that's exactly where it would have been going. But some of these companies don't want to work with each other as well. Yeah. Like Disney's not going to want to work with Amazon to open up Lord of the Rings. And Universal's not going to want to... in the same vein,
they're redoing.
Jeff Bezos have to build it himself.
Yeah, they're redoing Jurassic Park stuff in the Jurassic Park area.
Yep.
At Universal, they're changing some of that around as well. Disney has come to terms with letting go of a lot of their older things.
They have
Figment is gone. They're gonna do a whole new ride in Figment. That whole area where they call it like the racist land of the Wild West, they're redoing like Splash Mountain,
there was a bunch of
Thunder
stuff
Mountain
that they were supposed to do over the last like 2-3 years that got
Welcome
dropped.
Over here. We're not racist.
Yeah.
We're not you. You can't.
Woo!
A bunch of it had got dropped during COVID that they were supposed to be doing all these remodels, and it really got pushed off. So now it's like, well,
now they're
now
really
we're behind.
Yeah, but
because Universal stayed throughout the whole thing doing up. I mean, I got on the Minions ride as one of the test runs that they were having it open only a few hours a day. We got on. That ride was great.
Yeah,
it's essentially like a 400-yard conveyor belt that goes through rooms and twists and turns, and you don't got to move. You stand still, and the conveyor belt does all the twisting and moving for you. And giant screens, and you got a ray gun, and you're shooting the bad guys.
That's fucking awesome.
I mean, it was was a really good.
It's like a laser tag.
No, it's
like you're shooting the screens, right?
But essentially like a laser tag. Yeah, but you're only shooting the screens.
But that's awesome
instead of the people. But like, because the other Minion ride is always a 90-minute to 2-hour wait.
Yeah.
So they knew whatever ride we open, we have to be able to usher people in, just go, and just. So the whole ride just doesn't stop. It's just a giant long conveyor belt once you get your gun and you stand. And that way they know, like, we can squeeze this many people every hour.
Well, you know, like, the Men in Black ride became more fun to me once I realized you can shoot the other people in the other chairs.
They tell you, but you don't really pay attention to it.
Yeah, because when you're in there the first couple times, you're just shooting at everything. But, like, your opponent, if you aim, like, you could... And it makes their chair spin.
Yeah.
So the entire time, for fun, like, I'm just like, I'm going to make somebody puke. Bing! As soon as it stops spinning and I see that green light, I'm like, bing!
And it can...
Motherfuckers are looking at you like, please stop. You're like, bing!
There are times where I've been on it and you're facing the wrong way. So you can't even shoot to get a score because you've been shot and your car is now facing backwards. You're like, fuck! I can only shoot... on the back end, and you got like you get to the end, you're like, I got a shitty score.
Yeah,
this motherfucker.
There's some
shot
asshole
me, and I got stuck
named
halfway.
Nelson on the other chair who's like, I don't care about my score. Bing, I'm gonna make you spin. Bing. It's a good time. But even for you, for somebody who doesn't appreciate roller coasters, I'll put it nicely.
Doesn't appreciate
it. There are some rides at Disney that I think you could, like the Rise of the Resistance, where it's not a ride.
It's an experience more than a ride.
It's more of a show. Like, I mean, they walk you through the Star Troopers. They lock you in prison. They put you in like a cart. It's not a roller coaster. They drive you around through these amazing displays. Then they put you in like a small simulator for like 30 seconds. But like the stormtroopers are talking shit. They kidnap you. They lock you in a room. Like they line you up. Like it's more of a show / experience than it is like, oh my God, I'm going through these roller coasters. Yeah. And Disney's found a way to find that dope middle ground of like, hey, you want the hardcore ride? You got it. Hey, you want the family experience? You want something in between?
Universal really started that because a lot of the Harry Potter rides, half of them are as much a show as they are a ride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the Gringotts Bank thing. Yeah.
And
it's awesome, right?
Yeah. And
did you do that one where like you're facing the screen? Does that bother you? That kind of a ride?
No, it doesn't. No. I wasn't really a big fan of the 30-foot drop at the beginning of it.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's whatever. I had to do it. I couldn't have went to Harry Potter World and not got on the Gringotts Bank ride.
But he's right. Like, it's not necessarily like, okay, this isn't a roller coaster. Like,
I was like, I don't care if it kills me. I'm getting on the
where you feel like you're in mortal peril, but like,
what's amazing is
an experience.
A writer took so much reins on the way her world was portrayed in the theme park that it revolutionized the way theme parks design the worlds going forward.
Yeah. And
it was so revolutionary the way it was done because of the way she wrote the contract where she had final say so on every tiny detail.
Yeah.
Which is why like you can't just like when you go to the Star Wars now, it's not a bottle of Coke.
Right.
It's a bottle of Star Wars Coke.
Yeah, it's a little grenade.
That was literally all part of what she had did at Universal. Yeah. And they realized, oh, this is so big because you're in the world. Yeah. You're not just walking through the world and you can see the other side of the park.
She's like,
you're in the world.
I want a penny from every butterbeer.
Yeah. And them butterbeers are fucking good.
They are good.
Bro, okay, so have you gone to the Star Wars land at all?
I have.
Okay, so you've been to the cantina?
Do you currently have tickets for anything?
I don't.
Okay.
All right. Because, we're definitely going to be going back soon. And, like, because I couldn't get on the rides, but I needed to get out. Went to Epcot, just did, like, food and wine. It's just, like, drinking and eating everywhere, watching shows.
Oh, yeah, that's always fun. You walk around all the different cities.
Yeah, drinking around the world.
I did 7 miles because we walked the world twice. But you know what? When you're stopping for beer over here in Germany and you're stopping for wine in Italy, you're like, you know what? Just walking around there. Come on, do this shit.
That's right. It makes it doable.
That's right. It makes it doable. You know what? That's a good way to end the show. Well, thank you guys for joining us. And you can find us on all your social media platforms at
Sofa Kingdom OFC.
And you can find us on YouTube at
Sofa Kingdom Podcast.
Ian, take us away.
Listen, we appreciate your practice of forced consumption, making everyone you love and care for watch us.
Yes.
We feel that's the best way to enjoy us.
Yes. So share. Don't forget to go on and leave some reviews for us. Help us get out there more. Spread the love for us.
Even if you want to just comment hateful shit, that's fine too.
Yeah, especially about Edward.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah. That man's made of iron.
But when it comes to Nelson... Be gentle.
Yeah. Don't hurt his feelings.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy for the most part. Yeah. All right, he's shitty. But okay. At least make it funny.
Yeah. If you're gonna be hateful, make us laugh.
Yeah. I enjoy a good laugh. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Good shit, guys.